Hello, my name is Dr. Nathan Hudson, and I am the director of the Forage and Flourish Contemporary Music Festival, and by extension, the Forage and Flourish Community Music Project. We're so pleased to have you join us for episode 3 today, where I'm going to be introducing my brand new piece, Stutter Proclamation. Now, before we kind of get started, I want to talk just a little bit about the Community Music Project. We are a series of 5 videos introducing 5 brand new, open score, unspecified pieces of music, and all that basically means is that you, the community, after watching this video, are able to perform, record, interpret, share this music yourselves. It's pretty exciting. And this new music is going to be written not only by myself, but also by Dr. Alex Temple, as well as Kevin Day. All right. As we get started, I want to read the program note for Stutter Proclamation, but it might be a little bit different than the previous program notes. All around us, words are spoken. Do you notice how they sound? We create them, celebrate them. New words can always be found. Listen closely to their rhythm as they flow between us all. They inspire, sometimes tire, always strong and whimsical. Meaning can be found in almost any of them, short or long. It's their swaying pattern as they dance that gives life to this song. You might have noticed that these program notes sound a bit more like a poem than the previous 2 pieces. Stay tuned to find out why. If you have the score for Stutter Proclamation in your hands, you'll notice something right away that sets it apart from the other 2 pieces. So far, at least. The others are coming. What you'll notice is the score is entirely text. It's words. Yes, there are instructions on the previous page about how to interpret and perform these words, and we're going to get to that later on in the video, but the score itself is just words. And before we can dive into how to perform, how to dissect what's happening in this music, I want to talk about the inspiration in terms of genre or style that I drew from when I was composing Stutter Proclamation. I take a lot of cues from the minimalist movement of contemporary music. Now, this was a movement that was especially popular in the 60s and 70s, but has continued to be popular and is used by composers all over the world up until recent times and during recent times. The basic idea about minimalist music is that it is comprised of repeated structures, repeated gestures. Maybe they are rhythms, sounds, harmonies, melodies, or, in this case, words. These words are repeated sort of over and over, and it creates an almost hypnotic effect for both the listener and the performer. This style of music can sometimes have its pitfalls, because you might think, well, I don't want to hear the same thing over and over. That sounds a little bit boring. Well, that's why it's on myself as the composer and on you as the interpreter to find ways to create interest and to explore the possibilities within this minimalist structure to really make something beautiful and to make something powerful. So before we start getting deep into Stutter Proclamation, I would be remiss if I did not mention a figure in contemporary classical music that really laid the groundwork for not only text-based scores such as this one, but also most of experimental music, avant-garde music. And their name is Pauline Oliveros. So Pauline was a composer, an accordion player, a thinker, a writer, and one thing that Pauline is really known for is for coining the term deep listening. Listen and respond to what's happening during performance environments. That's so interesting, right? She wants us to listen to what's happening while we're making these sounds. Now, you might be thinking, well, sure, I'm always listening when I'm making sounds. But are we really listening, besides what we're doing, to the space, the environment around us? This is going to really impact our performance and understanding of Stutter Proclamation, as well as any number of other text-based works. Now, Pauline wrote text-based music, and she also wrote a book called The Anthology of Text Scores. In this text, she introduces a ton of fantastic text-based music, and she talks about how to engage with it. She writes about her experiences with this music, and I want to read some quotes from what Pauline wrote in the preface and in the beginning chapters of this book as it relates to text-based music. So let's take a look at what Pauline wrote. For me, acoustic algorithms are recipes that allow musicians to create music without reading notes. In Stutter Proclamation, we don't see any notes, we just see words. These pieces include noise materials as well as pitch materials. Their use of text is a way to move from traditional note-bound composition to a freer area of music making that is reliant on ways of listening and responding. Listening practice develops skills at another level. This radical approach to music making through listening attention and attention to listening has been a rewarding process. Listening is what shapes the musical mind. We have words, we have speech around us often, but are we aware of it? Sure, you might think, well, I know what I'm saying, but are you aware of how you sound when you're saying it? Are you aware of how others sound? A crowded room, a subway station, a restaurant. Are we hearing these words, this text, these conversations as sounds in space? That's what Pauline is getting at, and that kind of awareness can really help inform our performance of something like Stutter Proclamation. I want to give just a little bit of background about why I titled the piece Stutter Proclamation. As a child, and even up until now, I had a stutter, and it was something that initially I was embarrassed by. I thought that it was a flaw. I was frustrated. I was annoyed that I couldn't say these words that others could say with ease. I would trip up on questions, and when somebody would ask me, what's wrong? And I would say, I have a stutter, and inevitably I would stutter on the word stutter. And eventually I found out that it was beautiful. And it was this way of hearing sounds get repeated as we're getting towards another goal. And eventually it allowed for myself to explore other means of communication. That's why I became a composer. That's why I often gesticulate with my hands as I'm speaking. It allowed me something more as I'm communicating with you, with artists, with anyone. So that's why the piece is called Stutter Proclamation. It's not a hindrance. It's a part of who I am. And it's something that through this work, I'm able to share musically and artistically with a community that I love. In Stutter Proclamation, what's kind of nice about this piece is that we don't have to actively be thinking about musical notation a whole lot, right? We're not seeing a staff. We don't see pitches on that staff. We don't even see rhythms, okay? Now, we saw these things in the other pieces so far, again and again and once again, as well as float. But in Stutter Proclamation, we just see words. But words are rhythmic, and they are musical. And there's one thing I want to just mention, and I want to bring to your attention as we start to work through Stutter Proclamation. And this is something that you've heard of for a long time. You probably know what they are, but they're called syllables, okay? Now, syllables are going to be the sounding parts of words, right? Apple has 2 syllables, apple. Pineapple has 3 syllables, pineapple. Now, the stresses on these syllables has been formed through a long-standing tradition of speech and linguistics, but it's important that we can become aware of words and their syllables and how those syllables sound. I encourage you to even try to change the stress of syllables on certain words. Let's take the word pineapple, for example. If we take the emphasis away from the pine and put it on the ap, we get a word pineapple. That's kind of silly, right? Pineapple. But we still have these syllables, the sounding portions of these words, and words have different numbers of them. Some words have 2, some words have 5, such as university, right? We also used this earlier in again and again and once again to help us feel 5 notes. university. So spend some time, think about your syllables, even in your everyday conversation. Break it down, find the emphasis, change the emphasis, and become intimately aware with the structure of the words that we say every day. Because as Pauline Oliveros stated, how these words are structured is going to impact how they sound in an environment. Jumping right into the score, you'll notice that there's all these words, all these groups of words and text, and they're spaced in between. But hang on. What are these bracketed two-syllable fruit? Yeah, this is basically a Mad Lib, right? You have to go through and find a word that fits the description. Now, we have a list of these descriptions, okay? And once you decide upon a word that fits the criteria, be consistent with that word throughout the performance of Stutter Proclamation. I would encourage you to take a pencil or a pen or a highlighter and write it in above the score so you don't forget the word. It's important that we have that consistency throughout the piece. The criteria for each word of your Mad Lib are included in the score, and they appear in order of appearance, which you'll find them in Stutter Proclamation. So here's what you'll need to find: a two-syllable ing word, a three-syllable adjective, a two-syllable color, a one-syllable color, a one-syllable noun, a two-syllable fruit, a one-syllable verb, a three-syllable fruit, any audible vocal exclamation, a shout or a loud inhalation, a three-syllable animal or insect, this can be multiple words, and a two-syllable animal or insect, this can be multiple words. Some examples that you might use. For the two-syllable color, orange, yellow. For the one-syllable verb, run, fly, dive. For the audible vocal exclamation, and for the two-syllable animal, badger. There's a ton of options. Explore, say them out loud, think about the syllables, think about the emphasis on the sounding parts of these words, see which ones you're attracted to, which ones you're drawn to sonically in the space, and go with those. And you can always change it later if you want to spice things up. So one consideration that you can make when you are deciding upon your words is the beginning and the ending letters of these words and how those relate to previous or following words. Now we can look at the score to find out what words are going to come before and after any other given word, but perhaps if you had to have, let's say, a one-syllable verb followed by a two-syllable animal, fly aardvark might not be your first choice. Fly aardvark. It's not the most eloquent, and we need to explore it and be aware of these things. The other consideration is the percussiveness of the sounds. Let's go back to aardvark for a second. Aardvark does not have a strong front, whereas an animal like pigeon has that nice p at the beginning. So repeating that word, pigeon, 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 is a little more percussive than aardvark, 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 aardvark. So just be aware of that. Looking at the score, you're going to notice that there are groups of text. Now, these groups can sometimes be multiple lines, but every group is separated by an actual space in the score. Now, once you have decided upon your words, we need to put them into the score. Again, using a pen or a pencil or a highlighter. And you'll also notice that besides the unique words that you decided upon, there are some non-unique words in there, and those are to not be changed. Okay? Those need to stay as they are, but when we have the chance to create that word, make the Mad Lib, I want you to incorporate the word that you chose into the score. Now, how we're going to be performing Stutter Proclamation is the following. You're going to simply read through every group of text. After you finish a group of text, when you see that an actual space in the score, we'll take a quick pause and then you'll continue on with the following group. The important part here, though, is that when you are speaking the text for each group, the syllables need to be at the same speed. What I mean by this is that even though I am saying words that have multiple syllables, they are each at the same speed. That's what I mean by that. We need to keep these syllables at the same speed or tempo in each group. Now, when you finish a group of text and you move on, you can change that speed. Maybe you want to go really fast. Maybe you want to go slow. But every group has to be consistent. The last thing is that when you get to one of these words which you decided, right, your Mad Lib words, repeat them. Repeat them as many times as you want. Find the rhythm of that word. Allow it to resonate in the space. Pigeon, 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 pigeon. Then once you're satisfied with the sound of this word being repeated, you can move on. You can repeat any of your words as many or as few times as you would like. You will not be repeating the non-unique words. Those you will only speak through once. One thought on the speed at which you present each group: find a tempo that's going to make the words convincing. Maybe you want to go fast enough to where the words sort of blend together and it makes this sound mass. Maybe you want to go slow enough where you can really hear it, every syllable. That's also really exciting. But we have to find one that's going to make it the most convincing. What's going to make your text the most convincing? As you've probably heard already in this video, we don't always speak at the same dynamic or volume either. Sometimes we're loud and sometimes we're soft. This is something that is entirely up to you with how you want to incorporate it into your performance of Stutter Proclamation. Maybe you want to have a group of text that starts soft at a piano dynamic and grows to a forte, loud dynamic. Maybe it's loud the whole time. Maybe it's soft the whole time. That's something that's up to you, and you can play with it because certain syllables in words and certain combinations of words sound a lot different when they're presented very softly or very loudly. This goes back to what Pauline was saying. These are words that we know, we understand their meaning, but sonically in an acoustic space, loud, soft, it changes things. One extra musical consideration which I would like you to explore as you are working on Stutter Proclamation is that any syllable can be accompanied by a physical action. Maybe a snap, a clap, a knee tap. It's up to you, and you don't have to do this, but any syllable that you choose could be accompanied by a physical action. Pigeon, 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 pigeon. It changes things. Watermelon, pigeon, watermelon, pigeon, watermelon, pigeon, watermelon, pigeon. Explore that. It's something that can help give different meanings into these words, right? You can put the emphasis somewhere else in the word, on a different syllable, without you actually making it so. The sound can enhance the meaning, and that's really interesting. So have some fun. Explore. Go through all of your words. Make some mistakes, make some funny sounds, and choose what's the most convincing. When you are performing Stutter Proclamation, think about it as if it's a declaration of nonsense text to a crowd of people that may or may not actually care about what you're saying, but you will make it so enticing that they can't do anything except to listen to you. A declaration of nonsense text. For you more advanced musicians out there, here's a couple ways that you can take Stutter Proclamation up a step. The first is to think about the relative pitch of your voice. Maybe it goes really high and maybe it goes really low. Think about these things as you're performing Stutter Proclamation, and you can make some really interesting decisions about if you want your pitch to go higher or lower and how that can impact the meaning and the sound of the words and the phrases that you are creating. You can also accompany yourself by finding some sort of pitched or unpitched instrument, maybe your found marimba, maybe a piano, who knows, by tapping along or playing a sound in time, in rhythm with the syllables which you are vocalizing. That can be a really cool way to add even another element of sound into these words and give it even more color, even more character. If you are going to accompany yourself, I would suggest that you keep the rhythm of the accompaniment the same as your vocalization, right? We don't want to have it be a little bit off, behind, ahead, because we're trying to present a singular sonic idea. Adding the accompaniment is just going to expand the possibilities in terms of sound. So really think about that. Try to keep the accompaniment the same rhythm as your vocalization. If you are performing with a group, I suggest the following. Designate one leader or a primary voice for every group of text. It can change for every group. This person will speak their unique Mad Lib words. All the rest of the group will then only perform the scripted words. It creates a really interesting back and forth, and the added voices will inevitably come with a shift in dynamic, and it's really exciting. This can continue throughout the entire work. You can also designate people who will be solely accompaniment. They can tap on their fa marimba, they can play a key on the piano, and they don't even have to vocalize. But it might be a way to get more sounds than just one. So if you have a group, that's what I would suggest. If you have small children at home, here's what I would suggest. First, encourage them to be percussive on their body as you are performing Stutter Proclamation. They can tap on their chest, clap, stomp their feet, and they can try to match the rhythm which you are vocalizing. You can also engage them to help you decide upon the words. You want to give them ownership. Then, when you are performing the piece, when they hear you say a word, they can just hop in once they recognize it. Then you, as the performer, can wait until you hear them join in, then you can move on. One other really exciting way you can include young children is by allowing them to dictate your tempos, your speed. They can clap with their hands how fast they want you to go. They can snap, they can sing, they can whatever they want. And you can try to take a cue from the speed that they want you to go, and that can be a really cool way to, again, give the child ownership over what they're doing and have them feel really invested. For any music educators out there, this can also be a great pedagogical opportunity to introduce conducting to your children, right? If you introduce the basics of conducting, that can help a child understand that what they do can have a consequence in terms of the sound and the music that's happening. It can be pretty fun. What it comes down to is that in a piece like Stutter Proclamation, you have to make a lot of decisions, and these decisions impact what you do with your voice. It's very personal. We talked about that in Float, and here it's almost more so because we have words. I encourage you to explore all of the words, maybe even find some words you had never heard of, and see what they do, see what they sound like, see what they make you feel. Maybe they'll make you laugh, maybe they'll make you cry, maybe you'll feel nothing, maybe you'll feel something. But being aware of the power of these words is going to take Stutter Proclamation up to the next level and up to the next level in terms of your engagement as an artist as you share it with a community. Like every episode of the Community Music Project, we want to see what you come up with. So record yourself performing Stutter Proclamation and share it on our social media. You can find us on Facebook at FF Community Music Project. Okay, so go on there, give us a like and a follow, and share your performance so we can build this community together. The score for this work will be found as a link that's going to be on the YouTube video as well as on our Facebook page. This link will take you to a Google Drive where you can access the score. Any questions that you might have as you start to look through Stutter Proclamation, if they were not answered in this video, post it on our social media and we'll get back to you as quickly as you can with an answer. Thank you for spending some time today and watching episode 3 of the Community Music Project. We are so thrilled to enjoy not only your performance of Stutter Proclamation, but of Again and Again and Once Again, and Float as well. This episode will conclude the three pieces which I am writing for the project, and coming up next we have two fantastic new works by composers Dr. Alex Temple and Kevin Day. So stay tuned, and until then, keep on making some beautiful noise. We'll see you at the next one.
Running, 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 always running, 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 whimsical, whimsical, running, running. Yellow, 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 blue, yellow, 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 blue, 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 rock. Running, yellow, yellow, blue, blue, yellow, yellow, always yellow. Waves of yellow, 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 always running, 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 whimsical, whimsical. Apple dreams, whimsical, apple, apple dreams, running towards these apple dreams. Yellow dreams, whimsical, whimsical, yellow dreams. Fly, 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 apple, fly, 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 strawberry, strawberry, whimsical, strawberry. Fly, always running towards the strawberry. Running, 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 always running. The apple, apple is always the apple, whimsical, whimsical, apple, always a strawberry. I want to fly, fly, yellow, towards the whimsical, apple, apple. Always running, 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 just a, always just a. Blue, 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 strawberry, no. Whimsical, whimsical, blue, 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 strawberry, no. Whimsical, 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 grizzly bear, whimsical, whimsical, pigeon, 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 whimsical, whimsical, blue, 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 grizzly bear, no. Yellow, yellow, rock, yellow, yellow, dreams, always running towards these whimsical, yellow, yellow. Running, 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 always running, running. Running, 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 always running, running, whimsical, running, 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 whimsical, whimsical, yellow, 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 apple, no. Whimsical, 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 yellow, 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 strawberry, 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 no. Always whimsical, blue and whimsical.